Let's go find us a Braxton.
Help! Someone's been killed! I think I'm gonna be sick.
So tell me what happened.
I clean the apartments while everyone's at work. I've seen all sorts of messes, but this... If you're going into the apartments, do not go into the lower one on the right. That's where the body is. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to go contemplate a hot shower.
I mean, this one?
Oh, sorry. Just spooked me, was all.
Even Stellar Bay ain't safe these days. What's the world coming to?
I mean, he's not going to mind if I have these, right? He just go sleep in his apartment. No. Mag to power plasma. I don't need that. Mag to N-ray. No, I don't. Okay. Buy all of those and all of those. Alright. Alright. To SNAT. Sorry to bother you. Something foul's leaking from her apartment upstairs. Don't know what Celia's keeping up there, but she works for you, right? You think you can talk to her about it? Can you please keep your windows shut? I've tried to explain leaving them open, especially when you got food out, invites mantis swarms. And mantis infestation is everyone's problem. Truth. I know you keep odd hours, Braxton, but maybe you could try to close your door a little more quietly. I have rather sensitive nerves, and every time I hear your door, we're in the middle of another Amber Heights. Oh, they're lovely neighbors.
Watch your step if you venture outside the walls. Whatever you do, don't mention Tossball to Isaac. You'll never hear the end of it.
You know, I haven't seen him in a while.
You got his... Mostly colonist, you'd be thankful.
You startled me. Don't sneak up on a person like that, huh?
I'm looking for Braxton. Have you seen him?
Braxton. I've never even heard of a Braxton. Got nothing for you, sorry.
You've been taking drugs.
me, just a little.
Mm-hmm.
Braxton always has a good stash, and I just like to let loose a little. Stop thinking about the Marauders and the Raptidons outside, you know?
So you do know Braxton. Where is he now?
Oh, damn. He told me he was delivering to this house in the ruins south of town. Whole family had fallen sick, and he had some meds on hand. So maybe look for him there?
That's all I needed. All right.
Hope he's okay. We should hurry, Captain.
Let's see. Anything else I need to get out of the town?
You ever been off Monarch, Nyoka? Before you met the captain, I mean.
Nah, I mostly just drank and hunted. As soon as you stop to dream of other things, that'll be the day something sneaks up and eats you.
Don't fret, I'm watching your back now. Anything tries to eat us, I'll give it a mighty whack on the nose.
Well, I'll be damned. You watch my back, I'll watch yours.
New face, huh? You from Offworld?
Yep, Captain Hawthorne of the Unreliable.
A ship captain? Well, I'll be. Here, let me buy you a drink. Consider it an MSI welcome. Why don't you grab a chair, sit a spell, and revel with us?
By the smell, he's been reveling enough for you both already.
We need to talk about Velma.
Sure thing. What did you want to discuss?
Sandra's gonna fire her if you don't go back to work.
I never meant to call for anyone's head on a pike. Velma's not my favorite person, but she ain't been cruel to us. Devil it all. Now you got me feeling sorry for her. Fine. I guess we'll go back to work to save Velma's job. We'll find a better time to negotiate our wages. Tell Velma not to worry. We'll look out for her. I hear those rich people in Byzantium pay a handsome fee.
Hey, I'd give you a friendlier welcome, but I'm up to my elbows in salt tuna guts.
Who spat in your spirits, Velma?
You notice my mood? I'm surprised you can see straight today.
I could be seeing triple and I'd still think you're being unkind. I just might find it funnier.
Will you try wrangling half a ton of dead fish with decades-old equipment and see what it does for your disposition? Anyway, what do you folks need?
Let's talk about Caleb.
You knocked any sense into him yet?
I told him you were about to lose your job, and he said he'd come back.
Well, that's awful nice of him. Sure wouldn't have expected that. Thanks for your help. You've gotten me out of a tight spot here. Take this for your efforts. Honest work deserves honest pay. Something else on your mind?
Nope.
Did you have a sweetheart in Stellar Bay?
I had a fling or two, sure. But on Monarch, relationships ain't usually meant to last. A lot of fools tried to impress me, feigning bravado in the wilds, thinking they'd catch my attention with their stories. It was cute. Not so cute when their act got themselves munched.
Huh. So he's trying to skip town on, or got a called on his bets. Okay.
You know what's sexy? Confidence. You know what ain't? Disembowelment.
you're the new face. Wow, you must be up on all the latest tossball games. So who do you follow? Wait, don't tell me. You look like a Hammersmith Thunder fan. No, Glacial Age Mammoths.
I play for Auntie Cleo's Darlings. Don't you recognize me?
I'd heard they'd gotten a new hacker. Is that why everyone's making such a fuss about you? But what are you doing on Monarch?
Part of a goodwill tour.
Maybe we're not so isolated as I thought. So, what can I do for you?
Found a betting slip in a dead man's apartment. Any idea what might happen to him?
Poor Isaac. I was wondering why I hadn't seen him in a few days. I'd really like to help. Isaac was a sweet fellow, even if he did have terrible teeth.
Why would his teeth have any... What?
They were pretty distinct. Monarch doesn't exactly have a thriving dental industry, and Isaac seemed to get stuck in all sorts of bad habits, dietary and otherwise. Sometimes he'd drink Purpleberry Punch by the liter, other times he'd keep betting on a losing team. Started owing the wrong people money.
So who did he owe?
I don't know for sure, but I saw Elijah and his buddies pushing Isaac around. They're hooligans from Fallbrook. They sweep into town, drop supplies off behind the warehouse, and spend the rest of their stay getting rowdy over tossball games. They usually loiter in the alley behind the yacht club. They're not allowed in the bar anymore. I bet you anything Isaac ran into trouble with one of them.
Thanks for the tip.
Mr. Sanjar will be pleased to hear about it when you're done. I know he gets fed up with the Fallbrook bullies, but there's not much he can do.
I wonder sometimes what they're doing on other colonies.
Uh-huh.
Think they're watching the same serials, following the same tossball games? We're-
What was it like in Edgewater? I hear you workers were on the clock every available moment.
We always got 8 hours a day for sleeping. Just not always consecutive.
My condolences. I appreciate consistent wages like any other sane person, but that still sounds awful. At least Sanjar gives his folks weekends.
Weekends?
Hands of the Void. I used to drop by the bar in Stellar Bay to knock a few back with the folks who had Saturdays off.
Don't know what I'd have done with that much time. I was always behind schedule anyhow.
Knowing you, you'd sit and be alone with your thoughts.
Hey, what are you doing here? This is our secret alley. Berta already pissed by those crates to market.
I know you guys murdered Isaac.
Listen, that purple-toothed twerp had it coming. Not that anyone has proof. And not that it's any of your business.
Oh, I don't quite have enough intimidate.
I don't think so.
Here they come!
Pick the wrong day!
Oh wow, I'm just potatoing everywhere. Well, they're not going to need these anymore, right? It's fine.
Well, new business turns up at last. Celia, didn't I tell you our new statistics-based advertising model would be a hit?
That you did, sir.
How can yield improvements of 26.7% not quicken the pulse? How can 32% cost savings not moisten the loins?
You've often posed these very questions.
Clear my schedule. This newcomer has a meeting with me.
No, you have a meeting with me.
Did you hear that power play, Celia? They don't make them like this anymore in Halcyon. I only hope you don't judge me by my handshake. Now, what business brings you here?
Looking for the information broker.
Out at Devil's Peak? If you're headed that far, I see you've brought the right woman for the job.
Damn right.
But if you're here for him, I suppose that means you aren't here for Saltuna.
I have to eat one more weird science project passed off as food in this sprat colony. I'm going to stab someone.
Yes, that's it. Channel your anger. I only wish I could do the same.
Seemed like you're having a rough time, Mr. Sanjar. Are you doing quite all right?
Oh, don't worry on my account. This is merely the latest in a long line of professional, erotic, and athletic disappointments. I had hoped that livening up our advertisements with enticing figures would draw the other corporations back to our bosom, but it seems we're back to the drawing board.
What are you hoping to accomplish?
Thanks to the so-called hazard clause, Monarch has been cut off from the board's resources and protection for 10 years now.
So-called is right. We've got our hazards, but we're still here, damn it. The board took off without so much as a thought for the folks left behind.
I don't... Dang it, Captain, that's not right. Folks on Monarch shouldn't have to suffer just because the board says so.
Now, we've kept ourselves in business by trading with individual corporations, but given the off-the-books nature of those transactions, such arrangements are precarious.
Sounds like you're freer. Why not embrace it?
You talk like Graham.
Freedom always sounds nice, doesn't it? It makes a rather pretty slogan. But if you sit down and tally up the costs, how you provide for yourself in the absence of aid, how you protect yourself from a hostile galaxy, it starts to lose its shine.
What do you mean to do about it?
Well, Mr. Nandi here has a rather ingenious plan to get MSI restored to the board.
On our terms, mind you.
Of course.
But will that help the people here, Mr. Sanjar? Keep them fed and safe?
That's precisely what I'm trying to do.
And if our advertising scheme hasn't borne fruit, then perhaps it's time we took matters into our own hands.
All right, what's the plan?
It's a two-pronged approach. The first part involves seeing Stellar Bay properly defended.
How long did it take you to figure that one out, Einstein?
Not long, but the devil is always in the details. And the salient detail here is a Bolt 52 cartridge. If you can get us what we need to rejoin the board, starting the Bolt 52, we'll be able to become one of the most productive and secure cities in Halcyon.
And you'll have a powerful ally on the board.
So what is it?
Why, one of the strongest defenses in Halcyon. An extremely powerful ordnance. In the old arms building southwest of town, which used to be part of Stellar Bay before we had to move our walls in, these days it's overrun with marauders and raptidons.
Let's see what I can
So
find.
taciturn, so dour. I'll be waiting with bated breath. Oh, and while you're at it, there should be a terminal in the arms building with some dangerous information. Perhaps you could delete it so it doesn't fall into the wrong hands.
I need you to do something first,
What
though.
can I do for you?
I found the guys who killed Isaac Rose.
But that's terrible. What happened?
I already take care of it. They're dead.
But that means we won't be able to log their testimonies. If there's one thing I've been hoping to re-establish in Stellar Bay, it's proper documentation for legal matters.
Maybe I could have gotten their statements of it and tried to kill me.
Always a shame when tempers get the better of good sense. Still, your intervention in the matter is much appreciated. Please consider this payment for your services.
And I met Grin.
I see. And was his delivery of the MSI authorized greeting up to snuff?
He did a great job.
Well, that's excellent. I'll see that your feedback makes it into his review. What else can I do for you? Then it's good that I keep such meticulous notes.
So how did you get kicked off the board?
I've asked myself the same thing many times, especially seeing as the legal mechanisms we employed were part of the board's own bylaws.
Did you mean you started your own removal?
Not intentionally, though that's technically true. For many years, this planet was home to as many corporations as Terra 2. But back then, it was known as Terra 1.
I see the board put their finest minds on it.
Really? I always thought they were refreshingly straightforward names. After all, the whole point of terraforming was to make them Earth-like.
Here, though, the results were mixed.
That ain't fair. They didn't leave on account of the hazards. They left on account of their cowardice. The hazards just gave them a reason to put to paper.
Sharp as ever, Nyoka. And as the other corporations began to tally their losses, they decided to pull out.
But not MSI.
Our leadership at the time certainly wanted to. But there were others of us who saw an opportunity. The chance to improve working hours and conditions, to reform MSI from the ground up. It's humane, but it's also good business sense. Exhausted, sick, and malnourished workers are not productive workers. Even a cursory review of the data bears that out.
I hope you'd treat them nice, whether it was good business or not, Mr. Sanjar. That's what being a community means. Treating people right, because it's the right thing to do.
Here, here. That may not be the way the colony works, but it damn well oughta.
A noble thought, Miss Holcomb. Unfortunately, noble thoughts rarely sway board policy. Anyway, we learned of a loophole in the corporate bylaws that would allow MSI to claim ownership of the entire planet, creating the perfect environment for us to enact these new reforms.
I take it your leadership didn't embrace your idea.
No, they laughed in our faces and insisted we'd be relocating to Terra 2, along with everyone else.
Yet here you are. Hope you gave him the finger.
In a manner of speaking, many of us stayed behind, in an act of quiet but firm defiance. As the most senior executive remaining, I ended up in charge of what was left of MSI. I moved forward with our planned reforms, as well as our strategy to assume ownership of the planet. Yet not long after I renamed it Monarch, the other corporations dislodged us from the board and began an official campaign to paint us as lawless savages.
That shouldn't really have been a surprise.
But we weren't trying to. Everything we did was legal and above board. We followed their rules, and yet they still found reasons to declare us outlaws. I do think there's something useful in a governing body like the board. Something that keeps us from anarchy, but I dearly wish it functioned differently.
What's the hazard clause?
It's straight bullshit is what it is. A fabrication rich folks use to preserve their investments by leaving a lot of people here to die slow.
Nyoka has the right of it. It's a legal provision that gives the board the authority to cordon off any planet or location that it deems dangerous.
But wait, what happens to the folks stuck on the wrong side of dangerous?
I'm afraid the welfare of a few hundred people is too minor a figure into the board's risk assessments.
And they invoked it on you guys.
Yes, making all of MSI criminals in the board's eyes. Rather hard to run a business that way.
I don't know, lots of businesses are full of criminals. You don't seem to think too much of them.
He and his followers call themselves the Iconoclasts. Lawless anarchists, all of them. If anyone on Monarch deserves the reputation the board's pinned on us, it's them.
You got some strong feelings on it.
I'm trying to build something here. They only want to destroy things, and they risk ruining Monarch for all of us. It isn't just that they drain our people and resources. Every radical act they commit cements Halcyon's image of us all as destructive rebels and pushes us further from the rest of the colony. He's lucky the board doesn't take him seriously enough to keep more than a few UDL gunships patrolling Monarch.
An Earth Directorate assault cruiser would change his tune. It's almost a shame we haven't seen one around Monarch in a long while.
So why do you want back on the board?
Why wouldn't anyone? They own nearly all the resources and infrastructure in Halcyon.
Yeah, that'd go a long way toward rebuilding our homes.
To be on the board is to be part of the colonial community, and being cut off means slow strangulation.
Is it really worth going back to that?
I'm not a man to put pride before progress. If membership on the board can ease our hardships and provide us with opportunities, then that's the path I mean to pursue. Besides, I'm hopeful that additional leverage on our part will allow us a more equitable relationship.
Good, force them to the bargaining table.
I've discovered it's much easier to negotiate from a position of power. And I don't mean to leave MSI or its people at a disadvantage. My hope is to maintain the reforms we've managed here, and who knows? Perhaps once we're restored, we could spread them to other corporations. What can I do for you?
Alright, see you guys. Wonder if Reginald Cheney is here.
Your birth might combust?
What? Wait,
No.
it can do that?
All it takes is a little bit of black powder next to a lot of bits of fertilizer and one real hot day, and I've seen it happen.
I don't know what's more unsettling. The concept of my ammunition spontaneously combusting, or the fact that this is the kind of thing you think about on the regular.
I mean, why not both?